Howdy folks, Nintenjoel here again, and this time I have something different for you. I know I'm doing a lot of different videos, but I have a lot of different ideas for videos, so this one's going to be a little ongoing series about video games that I have beaten. And I actually have a list on my computer on a Word document that's called Games That I've Destroyed. I've been actually keeping track of the games I've beaten since like 2005. And I put the date down that I beat them and what system they're on, you know, because some games are on multiple systems. So what I'm going to do basically on these segments is show you 5 games that I've beaten, and all 5 games are going to be from different systems, just so it's, you know, it doesn't get boring. They're not going to be from the same genres or even anything like that. It's just going to be 5 games that I've randomly beaten on 5 different systems, and I'll tell you the story about it and why I felt they were good enough to play all the way through. Now, chronologically, this would start with Contra, which is not the first game I've beaten in this pile. However, this is the first in chronological order of games. This one's for NES, good old Contra. Everybody knows Contra. And this game is tough as nails. If you've never played Contra, I mean, this game, you go through all the lives that you have very quickly until you start to learn to memorize the levels. And fortunately, with the Konami games, a lot of those came with the 30-man code, which I still remember to this day. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start, BA, select, start if you want 2 players. And that gives you 30 lives. And so anyways, I had never beaten this game by myself, and one night at a friend's house, drinking 40s of some disgusting beer in Corvallis, we used the Contra code and very drunkenly went through this game in probably less than a half hour. Just absolutely obliterated the game and high-fived each other and just thought it was the greatest shit ever. So Contra is the first game. The second game that I've beaten, and in these 5 games, this is chronologically the first game I've ever beaten from these. That would be Metroid 2 Return of Samus, a very underrated Metroid game, probably the most underrated Metroid game there is, and most people cite the absence of a map for being the reason that it's not one of their favorites. And Metroid 2 was just revolutionary in some of the items that Samus could equip herself with. She could turn into a sticky ball that stuck to the ceilings and walls, and you can find unexplored areas that in any other Metroid game, well, in the previous one Metroid game, you wouldn't have been able to access. But with the sticky ball and with multiple jumps and the multiple beams that she could get, this game was just awesome. And I will never forget when I was about 11 years old, my parents were on a trip with me in Nevada, and I beat this game when I was about 11 years old, and I got to the Queen freaking Metroid, and she was huge, and I was so excited, my blood was pumping, and I beat her first try with not much energy left, and it was just freaking awesome. One of the first games I've ever actually beaten in my life, so that is a really cool one. Now, the third game that I've beaten is truly special, and not just to me. Almost every retro gamer knows this game. That's Final Fantasy III for Super Nintendo, or Final Fantasy VI if you happen to play the Japanese version. I do not have the Japanese version. I'm sick of people saying, "You mean Final Fantasy VI?" If you look at my cart, it says Final Fantasy III, so suck it. So Final Fantasy III is a game that I've been playing for a very long time, pretty much since it came out. I had a friend in North Bend that always had the greatest shit. He had the best stereo, he had the best game consoles, he had the best of everything, and he always had the best video games. And one day I went to his house, and he was playing some Primus, which he was the one that introduced me to Primus, one of my favorite bands, and he was playing Final Fantasy III, and this game blew my freaking mind. I had already played the first 2 and loved the first 2, but the music, the graphics, the enemies, and the materia system for how you gained magic was just incredible. I mean, I don't have enough good things to say about this game. I've beaten it multiple times. I beat it first as a teenager, and it's so rewarding. The story's so good. I mean, just the fact that it's got such a good story is reason enough to play this. So Final Fantasy III for Super Nintendo. The next one's unusual because not a lot of people have played this game, and that is so unfortunate. And it's just because it's kind of a game that doesn't really follow with standards of nowadays games, because it's a point-and-click adventure, and meaning that everything you do is treated almost like a mouse. Yes, you do use the PlayStation controller, but everything's kind of treated like a mouse is. You just basically have a point and clicker for everything, and you can select items that you've picked up, and you can change things on the screen, everything with your pointer. Blazing Dragons for PlayStation 1, and I don't know many people that have played this. One of my friends has played this, and you know who you are. This game is amazing. I've beaten this game multiple times, and God, it's so fun. It's actually got voice acting from Terry Gilliam from, Terry Jones from Monty Python, and it's also got voice acting from Cheech and Chong, and it's just got a really wacky story. It's about dragons just play it. I can't even describe the story, just play it. It's so damn good. So yes, Blazing Dragons, very good game. And the last one I have for you guys is a little bit newer, not newer, but I mean not as retro as that stuff. On PlayStation 2, who could forget Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance? I have both of these games. The second one is really good as well. This first game is so damn good. If you like hacking and slashing and obtaining items and obtaining weapons and then selling those items and weapons for upgrading your weapons, ad infinitum, just forever, just do it forever, this is the game for you. It's so fun to kill every single enemy in the game. And if you've beaten the game on, an easy mode or medium mode, there's harder modes for you to defeat it in. And the harder the mode you play, the harder the enemies are to defeat. But you get rewarded with awesome weapons and armor and all kinds of stuff that you find. Lots of gold, and just this game has a replay value that is nearly unmatched in my opinion. Both of the Baldur's Gate games, and very similar to the Baldur's Gate games on PlayStation 2, are the Champions of Norath games. Champions of Norath and Champions Return to Arms. Very good Diablo-type games. So that about wraps up my video. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up below. And if you would like to subscribe, that would be amazing. I love getting new subscribers so you guys can see exactly what's coming out next. And that's all I have for you guys. Why don't you guys tell me what games you've beaten? That'd be really awesome to hear, what are your favorite games that you've ever beaten? And do you have a story about if you have a really good game when you beat it? I remember beating Metroid 2 so clearly. It's ingrained in my memory in all these games. So I don't know if everybody's like me like that, but give me your stories if you are. Share which games you've beaten, and please keep watching my channel. Have a great day.